Welcome to the buy list. This is episode 63.
This is not financial advice. This is cardboard. Oh, whoops. My shoe's untied. No, it's not. Shit.
That almost worked.
Almost got
So,
him. I got someone. Someone is watching for the first time, and they are really freaking
they have
confused.
no idea what's going on. Yeah, for sure.
Shoot.
So, Nate, we got a keynote at Pro Tour. I'm going to Gen Con this weekend. So I will be gone most of the week, actually. It's the first time going to Gen Con. And so we're recording on Monday, and I think this is going to be an early release episode because that keynote was thick with two C's, dude. Um, that, dude, like, seriously, that keynote was like way more than I expected. I think it was like the most information filled keynote we've ever got from LSS. It was crazy.
Yep. Yeah. I think James was like, hey, Brian, like, give him some teasers and stuff. And Brian was like, what? Sorry, breaking up. Click. Got him. I got the keys to the kingdom.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, he might have went rogue. Yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
he dropped some fat nuggets, and I'm
Yeah,
here for it. I'm just chilling at home, and I'm just like, what? Excuse
yeah,
me? Pardon me, sir?
yeah. It was crazy.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're gonna just do our full, like, I guess, reaction and kind of review of the information we got from Brian a couple days back before the Pro Tour. Starting off with the OP roadmap. Yeah, overall, we talked a little bit about this, Nate.
Yep.
Nothing super surprising here. I think it gets us out to July of 2025, which is very cool to see. Like, let's start off right off the bat with LSS is now officially gone past their, like, hey, can you tell us when the next big event is, please, so we can plan.
Yep.
I think we're officially put that behind us, and we have a good lead time on large events now, right? So that's really cool. I always thought we'd get there, but like, it's cool to see it happen, after a little bit of time. So,
It
um,
it is nice to see like this far out because like this is actually like I use this. Still trying to convince the wife on Tokyo, or sorry, Osaka. So I use this like as like, listen, like the next pro tour is in Europe. The following one's gonna be in APAC. Like they're not at great times for us either. Like I'm
mhm.
probably not gonna go to those. So like worlds, I don't know. Maybe this is my last hurrah. Like I'm getting washed at this game anyways.
Yeah,
So being able to have like a really good conversation with your loved ones, or
yeah,
just your wallet,
right.
about like what you want to commit to,
Yeah, yeah,
is huge. Because before it was kind of like, yep, so 2 weeks calling. It's like, what? Excuse me, sir. But no,
yeah,
Alice is doing a fantastic job on all fronts here. So it's really
yeah.
cool to see the full, like, basically 12 months laid out.
Yeah, and you hinted at kind of, I would say, the biggest news that came from the OP roadmap that was shown off is that, and they hinted at it as well, with the Pro Tours being in Europe and then in APAC. It is almost a certainty that we will be getting the world championships back in North America.
Mhm.
I would I would I would bet it's the US, just because, like, I Canada would be interesting. I wouldn't mind it. But
Mexico City.
that one I would have a little bit of a head scratcher. But yeah, so that's the big. I think that's the biggest news out of this one,
Yeah.
right? Is that they kind of said, hey, hint, hint, Worlds is not on this, but kind of read between the lines on it.
Yeah.
But you also brought up the point that means US will not have a level 4 event for quite some time, right? Like, next year well, before we get to this, like, I'll just say the OP seasons, they look exactly like they did last year.
Yep.
We got ProQuest Road to Nats in February, and we got a Pro Quest season in April. So again, we're kind of on that bunched up timeline again, heading into a June Nationals, which is, same as this year. But like I was getting to, the US will not have a level 4 event for some time, right? We're kind of just getting Worlds next year, it seems.
Yes. So they have like, yeah, like you said, like the exact same loadout. So we will probably go more than 18 months without a major in the US, which is a little concerning for me in terms of like the market. Like we have like
Yeah.
for the national skirmishes and that we have nationals, but like we've seen a pretty big sell off stateside since nationals because there's basically no major events in, especially if you are in the US, there is no major events now until literally nationals of next year. And listen, we're both from the
Well,
US. We might be able
World
premiere
Premiere is a
premieres
big
you don't need
event. It's
cards
not
for
a.
though. You don't need cards for the premieres.
That's true. That is valid.
You rock up, you literally have a pack of sleeves that you've used for the last 35 years that will fail you a deck check, but you can use them. Um,
Yeah.
so like I think like very US based here, but we are the largest player base by far. Um,
Yeah.
so I would have loved to see one of those in the US, but I am
I'm not
not.
going to be complaining about Worlds in the US though.
No, I will not complain about that.
No, no. I mean, if we're gonna make a trade here, Nate,
Yeah.
I think I'm more okay with the trade than not. It's
Yes.
just interesting, and I think, to be honest, True Serum at LSS would be like, hey, we have the base set in the US,
Mhm.
and we really need to like push and kind of catch up these other regions, which I understand, right?
Mhm. It the one thing, Trevor, I know you're listening out there. Trevor Baker, head of OP. I'm pretty sure he like puts this all together, doing a
Yeah.
phenomenal job.
Yep.
I'm not gonna go to the Pro Tour APAC. There's like a
No.
very little chance that I go. If I was a competitive player though, and I planned on trying to hit nationals and that is it is a very tight turnaround. Especially with
Mm. Yeah.
like move that Pro Tour to like August. Like especially if it goes Pro Tour and then nothing until Worlds at in the very end of the season, which maybe they
Yeah.
surprise us. Maybe they get a little spicy with what they're cooking up over there. Don't know what they
Yeah.
got, but I think having nationals is like to that level for a lot of people of like a Pro Tour. Like having those two back to back like that is
Yeah.
can be taxing on the wallet and the wife.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I think, the argument for the way it's set up right now is that you are getting a set, and we'll talk about it when we get to the product roadmap, which is where the meat of this episode is, to be honest.
Yeah.
Um, that is dropping in May. So we have the world premiere in May. You get into Nats. I think I think it's not a bad idea to have Nats season around the world as a primer going into a pro tour. Um, and it kind of shows off the sets, like the set that dropped, right? You kind of want to have that, a big event soon after you release a set. So, but like you said, it is tough. I mean, obviously, it's hard not to be biased. It's hard for us not to be biased because it's like, oh man, with going to Japan this year, I can almost guarantee next July that I won't be able to make it to APAC Pro Tour, right? It's just not something I can feasibly do. The Europe one is maybe within reach, depending on where it's at. It's not terrible, but yeah, totally understand there. So
Foggy London town.
yeah, right.
Dude, let's go.
So yeah, for sure. So kind of like using this as a transition, Nate, talking about Worlds. So Worlds this year, we also got the information that at Worlds in Osaka, it will be within like 2 weeks of the fifth anniversary of Flesh and Blood,
Yep.
and they're doing a special fifth anniversary pack. That's that's cool.
Not
That's
gonna
very cool.
lie, the conversation with my wife about going to Worlds was on the downtrend.
Yeah.
It's Halloween. I would have to miss a Halloween with the girls. Like, am I even good at this game anymore? The answer is obviously no. But like, I was just like, it's really not worth expending that much wife capital to try to go to Japan, because that is like, I'm gonna have to take out a large loan and pay
Yeah.
that back for a very long time. Like, there's multiple Disney trips in my future because I've tried to go to Japan, and
Yeah.
I was like, it's probably just not worth it. And then they dropped the 5th anniversary pack announcement, and I was like, I don't care. Just send me the bill. Send me the bill, baby. I'll go. How much that don't matter.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, for sure, man. I'm already locked in, as we've spoken about in
Yep.
previous episodes. So I was like really surprised by that. It was a really cool surprise. Um I'll say I think I like the I no, I know I like the idea. I think it reinforces the mantra LSS has of play the game, see the world.
Yep.
They understand that that's how you get players to the world championship. That's how you get players to come out. Not okay. Players are going to come to the world championship to play the world championship, right? Like they're not going there for a fifth anniversary pack. Um,
Sweet
now
though.
you, it is a sweet little bonus for sure, for sure. But how do you get guys like me to go, right? How do you get uh and again, like this is a little bit like Japan for a lot of the world is kind of far away. I get it. But this is a worlds thing, right? Worlds could be anywhere, and they would have been doing this because it is the fifth anniversary.
Yep.
And every Flesh and Blood event has exclusives, right? Like LA had epods, and so on.
Amsterdam had
And
the null rune.
Nalrune, yeah. So I think it's a good idea. I think it reinforces like I was saying, I think it reinforces see the world, play the game, um, and it's just something neat. Like I guess I'll ask you a question since I've been talking for a bit. Is like, what's your prediction? Because we got no other information about this pack. What's your prediction on what's inside of these packs?
In it. What's in it? The Steve Aoki test print heart is gonna be in it. For all those who don't know, that is a very, very deep cut from a very long time ago, and you have to be a certified boomer to get it. So if you got
Yeah.
that, let
Oh
us
my
know in the
god.
comments below.
Oh my
Um,
god.
so like in reality though, I think it will be things of that caliber. Like, I would not be surprised if James White like cracked some things open that he was saving for a rainy day and was just like, someone's really gonna like this. Like some of the things that they've sent to people who've really like helped contribute and build the
Hmm.
game up. Like, I would not be surprised if there's like not a redemption card in there. Like, you can't send that to like LSS and get like a prism sculpture. Um,
Mm. Mm.
like things that they would want to celebrate the game, but they can't put in a pack too. So like, I
Yeah.
can see that being a thing. There's definitely
Like
gonna be.
super chase though, right? Like
Oh yes, I mean like
yeah,
the prism
like
sculpture
one
is.
of five, right? Or like one of
Oh,
one.
if they did it, I would assume they would probably only do one. Um,
Yeah, in that case for sure.
um, but I would not be surprised to see like test print cards, some of the original just like sketchings, um,
Hmm.
alt art reprints of just like maybe not staples, but like highly played cards. This would be a very clever and controlled way to put CNCs into the market, where you could make it like a control. Like, they've clearly tried to drip into the CNC market. Like, I just got my email the other day to like update my address for um my
Yeah.
Kasai CNC. But
Yeah.
these are like the ways that they can continue to like drip and like kind of like dilute the market, that just try to shove that price down just a little bit. Um,
Hmm.
and same thing with like some alt art tunics. Like I could see like textless cards too. Like I think they're just gonna go.
Dude, you're going way deeper than I'm willing to go on
All
my
right,
prediction.
what do
So
you think then, Ted?
I think it's gonna be I think it's gonna be a little bit more vanilla than that. I
Okay.
think that they understand that they got to be careful with some of these things. I agree with you that I think there could be like Uber Chase cards where it's just like, yeah, this is like a test print of, this card, or at some like historic card of the history of Flesh and Blood, like maybe we don't even know about, but
Yeah.
they're like one of one or one of three different variants. I think like the bulk of the cards will be like like played cards, kind of like history pack cards, if that makes sense, but with like a fifth anniversary watermark or like a stamp, like a foil stamping on them. Possibly some alt arts, like one per pack. There's like an alt art Nimbilism or something with fifth anniversary on it.
Yeah, so yeah, to be clear, I don't think like that's gonna be like in every pack. I don't think there's
Yeah.
gonna be like a test print Steve
No,
Aoki heart
no,
in every single pack.
no. Yeah, yeah,
Um, but yeah, like I think that like I completely agree. I think they're probably all going to be stamped. Like fifth anniversary. Either they're gonna this is where they introduce the new card back, so we know where the hell we're going.
yeah.
And they can do that with the fifth. So like new card back. I actually don't know if these cards will be they probably are CC legal.
Mm, yeah,
But
depends.
they're not introducing any new cards with this, right? Like
No,
this
I
is
don't think so.
purely going to be like a celebration, a reprint, and it's super controlled. So nobody get up in arms that like they're reprinting certain cards or
No.
like oh like if the collectors get mad because they reprinted CNC again, I'm sorry, but like
Yeah.
there's going to be so few of any of this that the population is going to be very controlled on any of it. So like the reprints won't affect anything.
Yeah.
And if like that's why like CNC might see like a little bit because it's like continuously getting like little reprints and trickles down. But like other than that, like they might put like maybe like an alt art like E strike in there. I don't know. I'm just hoping
I don't
for the juice.
I don't know, man. I don't know if they go like that route.
No shot they don't go that route. They got to put some juice in there.
Yeah, my hope is that they okay, so here's my hope is that there's some like mega juice in there, right? That's like one of ones, things like that. Um, but they print like two pallets of these, right? And it's just like super hard. The packs themselves are not super hard to get, but like 95% of them just have just have like these special like stamped cards, right? Like almost like a history pack. You get like a Nimbilism, or you get like a captain's call, right? That just says fifth anniversary on it. But then there's some like really cool stuff for the history, and then like maybe even alt arts or something. But yeah, I kind of think that would be kind of neat, because that would um, during the event, so Thursday, Friday through Sunday, that would like incite this like trading and like, oh man, I need my play set of Nimbilism Reds or whatever that have fifth anniversry on them, and so
Dude,
even
you
the
were
chaff
rock hard
becomes.
for Nimbilism.
Well, I don't know. It's just like the first thing that comes to my mind. Um,
Ain't nobody trading for that piece of garbage.
You know what I'm saying, though? Like
I do.
playable cards from previous sets, right? That are not majestic, so it doesn't get all weird. Things like that, right? I think, again, I always lean towards trusting LSS. I think they have a good understanding of like, and they take good feedback. So I think the collectors and stuff will be respected with this product as well. So
I don't. I think it's going to be distributed like the EPOP promo, and you get one because like there's no way to like fairly distribute
yeah, I don't know how they're. Yeah, you're probably
like
right. It
because
it might
the
just
thing
be
is like
side
it's
events.
Worlds, it's in Osaka. There's going to be some so like
Yeah.
there's the risk of big whales just going like mine and just like gobbling it all up.
Yeah, it'll probably be side event limited. Yeah, makes sense.
Like I can see like potentially like maybe like sealed side events with them in it. Like you could do like a 6-pack sealed side event, which would be kind of interesting. And I do think this is, to a lesser extent, kind of going to be a test run for LSS to make the event promos promo packs,
Mm,
because it doesn't cost them anything, whether it's cellophane. It probably doesn't cost them. It probably does cost them something.
yeah,
Cellophane versus like being an actual pack
yeah,
probably does cost them something, but we've seen the shift from, like, they used to give like the judges just like, here's your judicator cold foil, have fun, and they
yeah,
realized like judges didn't like it because no one wanted the adjudicator stuff. So they're
yeah,
like, okay, here's judge packs. And
hmm,
then everyone went nuts
yeah,
because the chase gets better value no matter what. So,
hmm,
like, having sealed packs of anything like makes the promos at events better too, because it's like, hey, here's your sealed, like, calling event
yeah,
pack. I don't know.
yeah. It could be right.
With anniversary.
The judge packs are moving into like packs themselves, right? So it's not a single card and a paper
Yep.
pack,
Yep.
which is smart. So they're protected. Um, yeah, maybe they are doing something like that. Maybe it's a test run for, I don't know. I think it's cool nonetheless that there's something like super special for this 5th year anniversary.
Yep.
Um, and like I think Worlds itself will continue, like the one in the US next year will continue to have something very cool attached to it, be
Yes.
it like super exclusive playmats, maybe another pack, just a Worlds pack I could see happening again, right, if this goes off pretty well. But yeah, I think it's really cool and it's exciting that they're doing something like that. All right, Nate, let's move on to the product roadmap now. We're going to kind of just go top to bottom on this one. So, standalone booster sets, we all know Rosetta's coming in September,
Yep.
but we got set 15 and 16 release months. Set 15 is coming in January, which is a little bit earlier than heavy hitters. And then we got set 16 in May. Um, yeah, so that's pretty cool. I think January, like just starting the year off, like hot out the gates is neat. I think heavy hitters was like end of February this year, so we get that pushed up a little bit. Unfortunately, I kind of did the quick look, and I don't think that means we're getting a fourth standalone booster set, draftable set this
Yeah.
year, because even with the May release, you extrapolate out, the third set would be right around the same time, September, August, and then it doesn't leave enough time um, for the fourth set to come at the end of the year, because we know they like to black out December, and they've been pretty staunch on that, which is okay, because
I don't know if
we'll come to it a little bit later, but
Yeah. I
yeah.
don't know if they're necessarily staunch on it. I think it's just a bad business decision.
Yeah, it's like who's buying like booster sets and cracking like on Christmas, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like in December,
You
right? It's
just can't,
tough.
yeah, you just can't compete in December for other, like, for attention.
Yeah.
So like,
Yep, for
why
sure.
bother?
Yep.
Um,
Makes a lot of sense.
but they could.
Yeah. The the one thing to note about this January release time is I went back and looked, Nate, and James White did an article with IGN when Dust Till Dawn was released. And in that article, it says Dust Till Dawn 3 will be released in early 2025.
Is that an
So
inside scoop?
no,
Is that an
everyone
inside
could go to
scoop?
IGN.
Hey, dude, you can read. That's half the battle.
I know. I got there, man. I got there. There's a lot of PVE stuff in that article too that's made me kind of smile. It's like, oh yeah, that's why everyone's so hyped about PVE. They went deep into it in that article. So maybe we go Rosetta into Dust Till Dawn 3, Return of the Jedi. Hmm?
The Return of the Sith?
Yeah, Return of the Sith.
Return of
Yeah.
Chain?
No. He's already said he's never coming back. Boo hoo.
Yep. I do think, like, depending on when we get that in January, my guess would have to be like end of January, because otherwise it's like we have February and March with like no products, no events. I guess we have Pro Tour, but like it's in Europe. Whatever, whatever, whatever.
Road to Nats is in February, right? So
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But that would be kind of, I don't know. It'll be interesting to see. It it does seem like they kind of have like a cadence now where it will be
mhm.
like January or February release, May release, August, September release. And now they have a lot of products though, which is really cool, like in the roadmap to like fill in the gaps. Like
Yeah.
I'm like Azalea Deck releases Friday,
Yep.
which like I'm like, holy crap, like we literally
Yeah,
just got the
Bolton
Bolton
deck.
deck.
We just did the Bolton
Yes,
episode.
we just did our Bolton episode, and now I gotta figure out how to play Azalea again.
Also, like, yeah, we're skipping ahead here, but this Friday, or well, yeah, I'll be at Gen Con on Thursday, and that's when First Strike drops early to Gen Con members. So First Strike's dropping
Yep.
right off the get too. It's crazy, man.
Yeah.
Um,
It I mean, yeah, we have two things dropping this week. Rosetta drops in September, and then we have Armory deck and Armory deck still to go this year. And we're gonna get a new hero before the end of the year.
yeah, yeah, I was gonna say, like, to wrap up the boosters, I don't think there's much here other than saying like early January, or like January is kind of cool, could be Dust Till Dawn. And like you said, that's a good point. I think this is the first time in Flesh and Blood where we've had like back-to-back years that look very similar.
Yes. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Which is like you said, they're gaining their cadence. I think they're finding a rhythm here.
Yeah.
But yeah, skipping down to the Armory decks, like you said, Azalea is coming out, and then Brian dropped that we're getting one in October and one in November, and one of those Armory decks are an entirely new hero. Dude, I did not expect the new hero this year. I was expecting it next year.
Dude. We're just living the good life. The
So
Well,
let me ask you before you get into it,
okay.
how do you interpret entirely new hero?
A new
Is
hero.
that a new text box or a new name, or like entirely new? Like I to me it's like I know it says entirely, so I in my head I want to go to like this is something, this isn't Dromai revision 2. This isn't, you know what I mean? Like
He
I think this is like full on new name, new sub name, maybe an old class and talent, right? It could be Draconic Illusionist, but it's like we're talking fresh slate, new hero ability, everything.
so I do think it's a brand new hero. If he went out of his way to say an entirely new hero, that
Yeah.
phrasing makes me think that it is brand new to Flesh and Blood. Um,
The first thing I
so,
heard was, well, maybe it's Terra from the first strike decks, the adult. And I said, no, entirely. Entirely tells me it's something we've never seen before yet.
which also could mean it's a new class.
Dude.
It's a fully built CC deck.
Yeah. Yeah, they could do that. It's crazy. There would be no other, like, you would just have generics to like upgrade it. But like at the same time, they could just drop that out there and be like,
Dude, if they think about like if they released Arachne as an armory deck, which they basically did,
yeah, kind of.
people still love that dude.
Yeah.
They just got to put a 6 cinematic around it, give him or her or they some sick lore, and they're cruising.
Dude, what if it's Necromancer and then we get another Necromancer in January in Dust Till Dawn? Because I don't think they'll do two Rune Blades, and then another Shadow Rune Blade in Dust
Dude,
Till Dawn.
you can just like basically end my professional fab career because I will just exclusively play Necromancer, and I can guarantee that class will suck.
uh,
Oh man,
I
like
want, yeah,
it's
I would do that too.
so the weird part too is like we have we have been rapid fire. So basically since when was KO released? May?
Yeah,
April? End of April, maybe?
yeah.
So basically April through November, so like 7 months, they're gonna release 5 armory decks. And then stop basically in two through the first half of the year next year.
I
I
think
love
I
I
don't
love
think that's a bad idea though. You get 5 of them on the shelf, right? They've been doing a good job about limiting, like, stores from just, like, buying too many of them, right? It's, like,
yeah.
max 12 for stores. So you just have, like, maybe a store has 1 KO kicking around, a couple Boltons, an Azalea, you just have, like, a couple laying around, and then all of a sudden a new player walks in or someone that's never played Flesh and Blood, and they're like, "Dude, I have 5 choices. Let me pick up this one, and go battle my friend with it," right? Like, I think it actually makes a lot of sense for them to rapid fire out 5 in a like very short succession and then kind of chill and then get into the filling in the gaps mode, right?
This is all in rapid succession too. So like we're people who are 30 minutes in, they stop listening anyways. But anyone who's still listening, Brian,
Brian's nodding off, but he's still listening.
he's still listening. This is gonna trust me, this is gonna wake him up right here. All right. So Flesh and Blood also has like a lot of like correlations to like Diablo, right?
Hmm.
And like the like equip your hero kind of like even like a World of Warcraft kind of thing.
Yeah.
If you were building a party, you had a brute, a light warrior, and a ranger. Basically, a like what else would you put in that party? Bolton's kind of like your cleric looking dude, so like
Yeah,
probably don't
maybe.
probably don't want a healer. So, but like you got your berserker brute, you got your like tough like battle hardened warrior who's gonna mix it
Yeah.
up.
There's always a warrior,
You
yeah,
got
and a
your ranger
ranger.
going pew 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 in the back. What else you put in that party? Wizard. One of those is going to be a
Oh,
wizard.
yeah. You might be
But
right. Yeah.
they're all going to be sitting next to each other on the shelves, right? Ideally,
Yeah.
their ideal
Wizard
thing.
Yeah, Wizard works, right? Because it shows a whole new acts, like a whole new way to play Flesh and Blood, right? This is hard mode for Flesh and Blood, but it also gives you it plays like nothing else. So yeah, it could be. I could see that. The October deck could definitely be Verdance or Acilio. Hmm.
Or November, we get Ice Wizard back.
Oh my god!
Ice
Oh
Lightning
man,
Wizard.
bro, come on, come on, chill, chill. Like I don't know if I want to. I don't know about that lightning. You gotta be very careful of lightning, Nate.
Oh man, makes a whole lot of sense. But like, what else would you put in that party? You got well,
Yeah, you're right.
you got a
Wizard would be.
wizard. So what else you got to put in that party?
It's true. You could put Viscerai in there.
Well,
Yeah, dude.
you
Guy
don't.
that
No,
uses
ain't
some
nobody want to
magic,
rock
uses a
up with some
sword.
sort of like purple edge lord boy. Like
It can be a new room blade too. I don't care. Like, let's just get like 6 room blades from here until February. I'm perfectly fine with that.
Ted, do you remember what
Keep trying to make them until you get it right.
do you remember what you sent me this weekend when James White, our Lord and Savior, finally followed you?
Yeah, that was a big moment in the history of this channel.
Why
That
did you
man does not follow a lot of people.
no?
I had to
Why did
explain
you
it to
think he
you.
followed you again?
Oh yeah, because we got to talk about the next. Yes. So there was a particular
Well, that's
tweet
gonna be one
that.
of the Armory decks.
Oh.
Jarl, you need a big beat, like a big just meat shield
Yeah.
in your party. You got your warrior that kind of mix it up. You got your rampaging brute who like just goes nuts. But you need a big old meat shield. So one of
Yeah.
those is definitely going to be Guardian.
So I speculate. Yeah, I think. Yeah, definitely could be.
You know,
Um, but moving on to
I'm out. I solved the
the
case.
biggest. Yeah. Let's yeah. It's a clunky transition I'm making out of it, but let's move on to the like biggest news of the keynote. I think actually.
Yes.
And as you mentioned, Nate, I speculated on Twitter this weekend that Jarl could be in the Mastery Pack Guardian, um, and that got me a like and a follow, which was pretty sweet. Thanks, James. But Mastery Pack Guardian is like, I like had to do a double take, dude. I was like, what is cooking here? So a little bit of the stats before I hand it over to you and your thoughts on this. Let me find it. So it is a special booster set that contains 140 mostly new cards, all playable within a certain class, which we know this time around it's going to be Guardian. Also hints that they are planning to do this more often. Makes sense. This allows fans to master their favorite class, upgrade their decks, and even crack shuffle play. Very cool. That's a really cool add to the set. We're kicking off things with Mastery Pack Guardian, releasing in March 2025. You know what that means? It's hammer time.
Is that what it actually
Thoughts?
says?
Yes, I read that right off of the recap.
Oh, dude, Carol definitely wrote that. That is a dad joke if I ever heard one in my entire life. All
Yeah.
right. So, 1 second.
So 140 cards, mostly new, which I think is very smart for them to put that mostly in there, that qualifier, because yeah, we don't need sets of reprints in this game. Um, yeah, I was super surprised by this, Nate. I did not see this coming. It was kind of hilarious because we hadn't dropped our Living Legends podcast where we kind of talked. I don't think we directly talked about this, but we're like, how do these old heroes LL, like one we did say this. It was like one expansion slot card at a time. How are they gonna do it? Like, how's Bravo ever gonna, amass 500 points
Yeah.
at like a decent clip, not just winning like 50 points at a time at every RTN season or whatever.
Yeah.
Well, I think Mastery Pack might might have enough juice in it, right? It's like an expansion. It's like if you took like Crucible of War and then just said whoops all Guardian or whoops all Runeblade, or you know what I mean? It's crazy.
So what's wild too, and like we've like pretty consistently seen this throughout the course of the game, is like the decks that do the best are usually the ones with the largest card pool.
Mm-hmm.
And Guardian for a while had the largest card pool, which is why Oldhim was very good. And then Ranger had one of the largest card pools, and why Ranger was very good. And Guardian is already sitting at the 5th largest card pool.
Yeah.
And it is not close either, because you know who has Guardian has 495 cards available to them.
Mm-hmm.
How many cards do you think Wizard has available to them? Pop quiz.
I would think you said 400. My guess it's going to be lower because obviously that's what you're asking. I'm going to say like 225 cards.
264 cards for Wizard. A class that
So
has been available since
it's
Arcane Rising.
Dude, I'm telling you, we all know how scared they are, right? Like you can't just like whoops and like screw up Kano cards
Yeah.
because it literally ruins the game for like however long they before they ban it. You know what I'm saying?
And like if LSS like really wants to like this is, in my mind, this is kind of their replacement to supplemental sets. And listen, I am here for it.
Yeah.
But
It's not only the replacement for subsets, it's also the replacement for black white border history pack.
well, history pack,
Because they're going to have some reprints in there, right? This says mostly new. So I
yeah.
think they're going to like find like, oh, this card is, this card probably needs a new way of getting out into the wild. So let's reprint it. I don't even know what card that would be for Guardians, but I think it like kills a couple birds with one stone here, Nate.
Yeah, it's a really good product too for new players, where it's like if they pick up one of these Armory decks or these First Strike decks and they're like, yo, flesh and blood. The issue is they don't have enough of them because there's 10 classes in the game. They need to have one for each class, because then it's just like, ooh, I want that. Like, I really love this Bolton Armory deck. Bolton's my boy. I ride with him. And you look at the shelf and it's like, Guardian, Ranger, like other mastery pack. It's like, where my mastery pack at?
Yeah,
But it is a very like when it is there though, it's just like, oh, you play Jarl, you really like that Jarl Armory deck that's releasing in October.
I think it's April now that I look at it again, but yeah.
Well, no, Jarl's going to get released. Remember, because they need the big meat shield.
Oh,
Um, so Jarl's getting released, and then like you're like, dude, this is awesome. And then you just buy a freaking mastery pack. You get probably, I'm guessing they're like staple common and rares, maybe like Cranial Crush because it's a super rare, and like
yeah,
maybe they put some reprints in there. The thing is, none of the Guardian cards are very expensive, so
yeah,
please LSS do not kill them. Um,
yeah,
they just don't need to be reprinted.
yeah,
So put like you just give that to the new player too, and they're like, oh great, I'm like a Guardian Master. It's like it's in the name. It's perfect. It's
yeah.
I do get a little concerned that like they might start getting too many SKUs. Um,
Yeah, I think the mastery packs will be kind of a rare. They won't be just chunking these things out. I think the more we talk about it and I sit here and think about it, I bet you a lot of those 140 cards are going to be Betsy support. To be fair, I think there's going
it
to be a
don't
lot.
matter if unless the log is there, like I'm out. I don't care. Dude, James, Carol, Brian, anyone in New Zealand who's listening, give her log. You will literally gain probably 20,000 Betsy fans as soon as her log gets released.
It's a cool weapon, man. My favorite quote from last week's episode was "going whole hog with the log." That was,
Yes,
yeah, it was pretty good.
absolutely. Think about
Um,
Prism. No one played Prism. And then you gave her a little wand and she was cool. And look at everyone plays Prism now.
yeah, I don't think
Free
those things
Betsy.
are.
Give her her
Yeah,
log. Free the log.
yeah, I don't think those are exactly the same, but yeah, I see where you're going.
Drop the log. Drop the log.
um, yeah, I don't disagree with this chanting, but no, I think it's really cool. And I'm excited to see what they do with it. I think it will, yeah, like I said, I think it fixes some problems for them, like gives them an outlet of, again, catching up a class that maybe is way left behind, or just needs like more than a card at a time, like we talked about in our last episode with the Living Legends, right? Um, so yeah, I'm here for it. I'm here for Jarl. That will be an instant classic. People will love that guy.
Yes.
So that'll be very cool. But
Also, I would like to correct something. I realized that the numbers that I gave you for card pools were based off of TCG player. So none of those numbers were actually
oh
accurate at
god,
all. But think about it.
think about it. Yeah, okay. Geez, hard hitting TCG news here on the channel, guys. Oh my god, you just fake news.
Dude,
All
I'm
right,
riffing here. Dude, it's 43 minutes. Even
riffing.
Brian's asleep.
All right. Well, like you just said it there. Let's wrap it up. But that was a lot of keynote, man. Brian,
Dude,
that was a thick keynote. Love to see it. Love seeing a more than a year, well, like more than a half year out. That's very cool. Um, I guess my last parting note that we didn't talk about, but I did tweet about it, is that the amount of events that they have planned and like have scheduled for even just the end of this year is insane. They just ran through slides for like, dude, it must have been like 10 minutes. It felt like it was just like, yeah, here's a calling in Florence, here's a calling in Chicago, here's a call. It's just like, dude, this is awesome. So really cool to see, especially from when we started in the game, when it was like, where's the next calling? Like, I just want to go to a calling.
yep.
You know what I mean? So now it's like, oh, you want to go to a calling? There's one in Portland, there's one in Chicago, there's one in Tampa. So it's like, oh my god, dude. It's like you now almost have to like pick and choose. So very cool.
Yeah,
Very
even
cool.
Brody cannot make every event anymore.
Which is, yeah, we've
Yeah.
officially hit his bandwidth, which is like perfect.
Don't think he won't try, but he
Yeah,
will. He won't be able to make it to all of them.
right, for sure.
Yeah.
All right, Nate. Let's call it there. Thanks everybody for listening. Please like, subscribe, hit the bell, all those things.
And put your money where your mouth is.
Peace.
Peace.